All right.
Yeah, I definitely think this is Mithramines, and what I was going to say earlier is I think maybe they separate because maybe Barrett and Red 13 fall through or get separated somehow, and that's why you have them fighting, and then you have Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa fighting Elena and Rude.
More light.
Yeah. Because Elena can hit Tifa, Rude can't. And I'm looking in the environment to see if I can see anybody else. She does not look like Tifa. Fight me.
At all. Oh, let me. Oh, Lord, I'm not. You know what? Oh, Lord. Okay, let me get past this.
Hang on a second. I gotta enjoy Mr. Worldwide. Give me a minute. I'm sorry. Rude can do whatever the fuck he wants. I'm sorry. I just left a couple poses.
Yeah. This gameplay looks sick. Junon! Oh my god, and you see the high wind. Oh my god. You see the high wind in the distance. You see Junon, the cannon. Oh my god. I can't wait.
Now let me just say, I am just the couple moment, the battle. I'm so for battle couples. I love it. I love every second of it. And the synergy, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm happy. Sorry.
Ah!
Beautiful they are.
Look at them.
Oh my gosh.
And like he was already jumping towards her before her feet even hit the ground. Okay. Yep. Like they are so in sync with each other. Can you imagine the sex? My God.
Exactly. But the thing is, the thing that I love most about this, especially when you go into the synergy attacks, which I am so looking forward to. I hope we get 2 for synergies and just entire parties. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, I am wondering if there's going to be like 3-person synergy or now this looks to me like a battle transition. So for instance, I think they finished their synergy. And then Aerith is just in the background doing her cheerleader thing because, you know, she's a great actress. But the way that this is shot, it feels more to me like, because you also see Cloud fighting Elena alone. You know, like he's swinging a sword, she's dodging, she kicks him, he dodges the kick, and then they do this thing. This seems like a battle transition to me, like when you get to a certain point. Obviously, y'all have played Remake, obviously. When you get to a certain point in the battle, there's always this transition that happens.
Exactly.
And there's this canon scene that happens. And this is what this feels like to me.
I agree. However, I'm like 75-25 on this one. So while I do think it's most likely a transition, there is still a chance of that, like, you know, how if you have the synergy attacks and you have the closing, because remember, we have Yuffie and Nanaki where the synergy attacks end with Yuffie riding Nanaki's back side saddle, because side saddle. I'm sorry, I've got a vendetta against Side Saddle. Don't judge me. But I think it's, you know, like how when you finish your limit break, you've got that pose and then you move on. So it kind of feels like a synergy ending. But again, it's 25-75. So if their synergy attack ends, like when they finish their synergy attack back to back, seems to be what they do because they always have each other's back. So symbolically speaking, they trust each other at their back.
I definitely see what you're saying, but I'm saying the way that I'm just taking everything in context. I definitely see what you're saying, and I see where you're 25. I'm also, you kind of convinced. I'm also a bit, I suppose, 25. But you see this whole sequence happening. So assuming that these things are happening at the same time.
Yeah, but the reason why I don't think it is because of how Aerith's combo was. Simply because I think it might have been the timing of it. So so unless we have a 3-person synergy where Cloud and Tifa are essentially hiding Aerith because she takes a little bit to charge her attack.
Yeah, it seems like they were doing a coordinated effort. Like we're gonna fight Elena and Rude and distract them while you charge up whatever the hell you're doing, and you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I felt to me.
Exactly. That's why it's like 75-25. So it's just like, is it a transition or is this a synergy attack? And if it's a synergy, do I get my 3-person synergy? Can I have my YRP moment?
YRP! Now you're a real Final Fantasy fan if you get that reference. Like, good Lord, my God. No, maybe a bad Final Fantasy fan if you get that reference.
Like, I want my Charlie's Angels moment. I am looking forward to it.
All right, we're gonna get to the critical point. We're gonna just skip to the critical. I mean, we're not gonna skip, but we're gonna get to the critical point of this so we can get to it and go. Okay.
Just look at her bouncing
I
around
love
like
the duo stuff. Yes.
Oh, so much.
That poor, whatever that animal is. Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry to backtrack a little bit, but I still just want Tifa to jump off of Claude's sword in some way, shape, or form. That needs to be.
Okay, I won't make a horny reference to this. So yes, I do need her to jump off his sword.
I will.
But if we do have a synergy, I do think that we're probably going to have Cloud throwing Tifa with the flat of his sword, like just about every other fan art has done. Be like, okay, batter up.
I love it. The second that people saw that you could do synergized attacks, everybody was talking about Cloud and Tifa doing a synergized attack.
Yeah.
But of course we know that Cleric is the actual ship, so whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Check your pockets. Check your pockets.
They say she's a monster.
Check your pockets.
Okay, so someone pointed this out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not to me, but it just said this on Twitter, and I was like, that you has a phobia now. Like, she sees that purplish stuff and she freaks out because that's what took Sona on away.
Mm-hmm.
Or she associates that with losing Sona.
Yeah, I think it was a way, and this is what I was talking about with the canon people, like the canonized versions of these boss battles. Like, they're making ways to explain why the other people aren't involved in the fight. So I don't know what happens with Aerith. Well, obviously we don't see that. But if this is indeed the ship to Coast of the Soul, the Junon ship to Coast of the Soul, they've explained some reason that Aerith isn't there, and then they explain why Yuffie is not part of the battle as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Yuffie jacked your shit and ran away where it's safe. She's probably like hiding behind the Naki. Just like, you know how when you're scared and you have a big dog.
You think she steals the materia this early on?
Oh, no, I just think that if she had the opportunity, she just like swipe and run.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, because, she also steals the materia for like, she only actually steals your materia when you get around to...
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you know that, but I'm just saying, like, I think something will happen. Something will happen along the way. And I'm not necessarily convinced we will get to Wutai. Well, no, the only reason I lean toward Wutai being in Rebirth is because, well, even that. Okay, so Cloud is good.
Goes to Wutai.
Cloud is gone after Northern Grid.
We're getting 2 discs worth of material, so I don't see why we wouldn't be able to go to Wutai.
Yeah, that's what. And now I'm leaning towards we're going to get it. So something must happen that prompts her to betray the team. But you also have the Kate Sith betraying the team thing too. So how are they gonna have 2 people betraying the team, like different ones?
I think part of it is
I don't know.
Well, the thing is that Yuffie doesn't need a reason to betray the team. I mean, if you remember from the OG, that was her plan the whole time, is that she's trying to get materia so that she can rebuild Wutai. So it was all ruse to begin with.
Yeah, but she only steals the materia if you actually approach Wutai, right? Or am I?
Yes.
I guess she sees that as an opportunity because they're so close, and then she can just swipe it and run.
Yeah, it leads into her backstory. So that's what I'm saying. There has to be something that leads into her backstory. Otherwise, if she just steals the material, I mean, obviously anything is possible. I don't know. I'm just saying, but
I mean, like, in all seriousness, we joke that Yuffie probably pilfered because Cloud's distracted. He's not going to notice the sleight of hand. However, in all seriousness, I don't think Yuffie would actually steal their materia unless she knows that they're not in actual danger. So when she does steal the materia when you're near Wutai, the monsters are pretty weak. So it's not like they could actually hurt you. So, like, you would have to be really stupid or really try to get a game over in that section of the game.
All right, ladies. Let's do this last part. Sephiroth's monologue. Sephiroth screaming Cloudy rights, and then we'll discuss this, and we'll.
Yeah, definitely.
Get away from me!
I didn't hear nothing. Hold on, wait a second.
Into the very depths of your soul. that she can become those you hate, those you fear, those you love.
Free you yet. You murdered my dad! You burned my village!
You know that I killed her. So, who is she?
Alright. Now we can talk. Sorry.
Wait, can we agree on the size difference between that man?
Oh my god! Also, that was one of my first tweets about the trailer. Was just like, look how tiny she is compared to him. Look how brave she was to take on that mammoth of a man. Holy shit!
Meanwhile, I saw a bunch of. I saw some assholes on Facebook like, why did she go after Sephiroth? Like that wasn't smart of her. It's like, she just saw her dad murdered on the ground. Like she just saw her dad like. She's 15. What do you expect? Like, so
let me say this: why did Cloud go after Sephiroth? I mean,
right after her.
Right after her. Like, come on.
Sorry, I'm on my salt train today. Go ahead.
Oh no, but you're valid. And the thing is, just that I think part of it is also what's good for thee is not good for me, or what's good for me is not good for thee. Like they want to have their cake and eat it too. So essentially. If they can hold Tifa culpable, they don't care the logic. So, a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old, they're not thinking logically, especially in such an extreme case of trauma. They're suffering extreme loss. Like, yeah, Tifa could have let go of the sword. And she's just holding on, but she's got this tunnel vision going.
Mm-hmm.
And can you blame her?
No, and also,
everybody's dead. As far as she knows, up until that point, her entire world is over.
Well, hell, Sephiroth didn't let go of the sword either. That's why I got his ass thrown into the live stream. So
exactly.
But like, as far as she knows, by this point, everyone she knows and loves is gone.
Mm-hmm.
She is not thinking clearly.
I mean, really, you have to have kind of an evil soul in my mind if you really gonna look at like Tifa crying over her dead dad and then just going after Sephiroth in a blind fury and be like, exactly. What a dumb bitch. Like, you're just evil. I don't even choose to bother with people like that.
Something else to entertain is on the topic of her entire world being over, everyone she's loved being dead. Why not do a kamikaze? I mean, it's not like she has anything.
That's what Cloud did. Cloud just saw Tifa lying on the ground and he thought he had lost everything. He just lost his fucking mind.
Exactly. So, I mean, but when Cloud goes to attack Sephiroth, Tifa's not dead yet. As far as he knows, she's dying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, again, his entire world is over. His best friend is dead or dying. The love of his life is dead or dying. His mother is dead,
most certainly dead. Yeah, his village is gone, and his hero. I mean, like, because even though it was about Tifa, he still did look up to Sephiroth as far as like what he would aspire to be. You know, like somebody who would protect the ones that he loved. So when Sephiroth betrayed everyone that he loved, everyone that he trusted, you know, like that. I think that was, other than everything else going on, I think that also was kind of a, you know, like you have all the world, you have all the power in the world. You're the most renowned person on the planet, and you would do this, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So his entire world and his world view is shattered, which is why, yes, Cloud was able to react against Sephiroth in this blind rage, but we don't know what happened after the fact, because remember, Tifa was still alive. Zack was still alive when he went to his berserk mode. However, after the fact, we don't know when he was picked up and dragged away. Like, for all we know, he could have been literally dragged away from Zack and Tifa, so he doesn't know.
Oh no, he was. Yeah, I mean, because they show a little glimpse of it in Crisis Core. They show him being put on a gurney and rolled away from Zack, and he's unconscious. Exactly. And Zack sees it, but he doesn't see it.
Exactly. So as far as Cloud knows, Tifa was left to die.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cloud had no and this is why if Sephiroth is planning what he's planning according to the Rebirth trailer, that's why it's so brilliant, because Cloud really did think she was going to die, and she would have had not Zangan came up and saved her. So he had no way of knowing. Yeah, and I see what you mean. Like, he didn't see that Tifa would, even if Tifa's body was gone, he wouldn't have no way of knowing that it was some person he never met versus like Hojo just picked up the body and picked it up. You know what I'm saying? Like he had no way of knowing that
into the mass grave with everybody else.
He had no way of knowing that Tifa lived until he saw her at that train station. And I think I think that goes into why he truly woke up, because he did kind of wake up, according to the devs, when Zack died. But he, like according to the game, according to the Ultimanias, he truly woke up after he saw Tifa at the train station, because he realized that he still had oh, the love of my life is still alive. Like now I have the time to, like, now I can, do something to be with her to make things right. Now I can be her hero, and that's why he constructed the soldier persona.
Exactly.
Because
yeah. But now take into consideration, like, Sephiroth knows, because he knows Tifa by name. Everything that Cloud did was, he said it. He pretty much verbalized, "This is for her. This is for my home. This is for my family." So of course Sephiroth is already going to start. He's putting pieces together because he's also extremely intelligent.
So, and if you remember Crisis Core, there's certain moments where it seems like Sephiroth is acknowledging, how important, now Tifa is to him. Like, even before he goes berserk and stuff. This is back when he's still, hashtag nice guy Sephiroth, before he completely loses his mind.
Yeah.
There is moments where he's kind of like, oh. It's like he's picking up on it. Yeah. Even before.
He picks up on Zack and Aerith as well. He's like, you have permission to go. Just like he tells Zack, just like he tells Sephiroth. I'm sorry, just like how Sephiroth tells him, you have permission to see the people that you want to see in the.
Exactly. So this kind of falls into the previous.
I think Sephiroth was jealous of Cloud. I still stick by this belief. I think he was jealous of Cloud, and I think part of it. I think what we're going to see eventually, maybe not in Rebirth, but in part 3, is part of his motivation. If I'm talking about chapter 2, it seemed like he left Cloud alive purposely, because he obviously knew that Cloud was alive. If the man is reaching for and all this, like, he knew he was alive, but he burns his mother alive right in front of him. That seemed purposeful to me, and I can't help but just think about that conversation that they had when they first entered Nibelheim, and the sad irony that Sephiroth doesn't know that is actually his hometown. That he actually has a home. But he turns to Cloud and he's like, "What does it feel like to have a home or something like that? To have people who care about you, blah blah blah." I'm not saying that in the moment he was thinking like, let me murder his family 10 days later or whatever, but I think that might have been part of his motivation to kill Claudia specifically. And he would have known where she lived, because when he tells Cloud he can go see his family, like, he knows. I mean, there's only 10 houses, in that, like, he knows which one is Cloud, you know what I'm saying? He's not an idiot. And in Crisis Core, he's looking outside the window and he's looking directly at Cloud's house, if I remember correctly. So I'm just saying, like, he's certainly, well, maybe not looking directly at his house, but he certainly would see Cloud going in and out of his house. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And another thing too is that there's a moment in Crisis Core where he's looking out and he says, "There's something about this place that's familiar."
Yes, that's the same part.
Sephiroth is still, he's having that connection to Nibelheim. He's like, there's some part of him that still remembers Nibelheim, but he's just not understanding why it's so familiar to him.
Yeah, that's a sad irony, because he never knew that Hojo was his dad, according to the Ultimania again. But yeah, according to the Ultimania, he never knew that Hojo was his dad. But yeah, he didn't know, he just had heard the name Jenova, but he didn't know that Jenova was there. And Hojo actually sent him there to set him up, basically, so that he would snap.
It was absolutely set up.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, and let's end on this, ladies. This whole Tifa's dead thing. Monk, can you explain why Tifa is not dead, and this trailer is not about her being dead. Please.
Okay. So first of all, Sephiroth is the gaslighter of the century. That is one of his main. It's one of the things that separates Sephiroth from a lot of other villains. As far as he's not just evil; he's very masterful in his evil. Especially when it comes to. And the thing is that he's trying to lie to Cloud about Tifa about killing her in the Nibelheim incident, not about killing her in the future. Okay, this isn't about Tifa being dead in Rebirth. This is about him appearing to kill her in Nibelheim and using that to. He's planting these seeds of doubt in Cloud's mind, saying, "Oh, Genova can take on the form of loved ones. So, and you know that I killed her in Nibelheim. So who is she?" That's literally what he's saying. I don't know how people took away from that. Oh, Tifa's gonna die. What?
Or Tifa's already dead, even though Tracy's past clearly shows she's not dead.
Okay, and continuing on, separate from that point, is Tifa cannot die because her role in the story requires her to be alive, being there with Cloud in Mideel. She is the one who takes care of him in Mideel. She is the one who helps put his mind back together. She cannot do that if she's dead. Okay? She's not So I don't understand why people are having this thing of like, oh, they're gonna kill Tifa. For what purpose? Other than shock value.
The reason that that Tifa can't die. Here's what some people are not understanding.
Okay.
The reason that Tifa's called you're kind of coming in now. The reason that Tifa's called a heroine, I said it correctly this time, is because she saves Cloud. Okay, like killing her has no purpose to saving the planet, whereas Aerith dying directly causes the planet to be saved. Like, these aren't interchangeable. First off, women aren't interchangeable. It's not like, oh, Tifa's dead, so therefore he'll run into Aerith's arms. It's not going to happen.
We don't play that.
Okay, yeah. It's not, if anything, he's just going to kill Sephiroth sooner for killing the love of his life like he did in Nibelheim. Okay? But yeah, Tifa's role in the story, her primary role in the story is to save Cloud. Okay? That's why she is the heroine.
The reason why Tifa can't die is because of her ties to restoring Cloud. And no, some other character can't fill that role. No, Zack cannot fill that role. No, Aerith cannot fill that role. The reason being is because it's her childhood, her shared childhood with Cloud. It's not the Nibelheim incident, it's the childhood memories that bring Cloud back. And that's the point that keep missing. It's specifically the mountain incident where she almost dies as a child. Because if you remember correctly, during the live stream scene, when Tifa talks about the night at the water tower and stuff, she says these memories aren't enough. Tell me something that only Cloud would know. And that's when he starts talking about their childhood. So obviously the Nibelheim incident wouldn't cut it. So no, Zack cannot restore Cloud, and no, Aerith cannot restore Cloud. Only Tifa. And that is why she cannot die, because she is crucial to bringing him back.
And they don't understand. It's because Sephiroth tells him largely the truth of what happened in Nibelheim, and all the only thing that Zack could do is tell him that it was actually him sitting in that, which he's already saw in the in the Northern Crater. I already saw that it was Zack sitting there instead of him. So Zack would be able to fit on those details, but Zack doesn't know Cloud in the sense of he knew Cloud for about a year-ish. He doesn't know Cloud from the reason that the live stream scene needs to happen is because it starts off with the Nibelheim incident and it ends with it, but the huge portion of the middle is Tifa trying to convince him that he's the real Cloud. Nibelheim incident doesn't convince him because he realized already that he wasn't in Zack's place. It takes Cloud confessing to Tifa why he joined Soldier. And the reason he joined Soldier is because he wanted to impress her, because he wanted to be closer to her. It takes him basically making a love confession to Tifa for him to actually, and her telling him that, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, and, you know, like, I always liked you and I didn't, you know, like, it takes her accepting him as he is, who he truly is, not this soldier persona literally that he has concocted in his mind. Again, quite literally, for him to finally let go of the guilt and see things for what it is. And that is only when he actually remembers what happened in the Nibelheim incident. It has nothing to do with somebody just telling him it.
Exactly. And to take it a step further, it's just that, Zack and Cloud hung out. They, during missions, after missions, like, depending on how many of Zack's memories, you got to see that. They actually hung out after hours.
Yeah, absolutely. They were close.
We also see where they have the discussion where Cloud doesn't reveal his motivation. So even though everybody but Cloud and Tifa can see that they are into each other, they don't know the full depth of it because Cloud he's very possessive of his memories.
Just like Tifa, I mean, she doesn't tell anybody. She didn't really tell anybody.
It's like, I don't want to let it go.
Yeah,
because when I share it, it takes a life of its own, and they're not ready to share it yet. They're not ready to share.
Well, and I don't think they ever share the promise. In particular, I don't think they ever tell the promise to anybody. As far as I know, I mean, I've never seen it.
So even
they kind of hint around it. Like there's It's a Daki Street. He's like mumbling to himself and says something about the promise, and Aerith's like, "What's this promise you're talking about?" But he never explains what the promise is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even if, and I do think that Zack is a person that Cloud would let in, but what could Zack ultimately do? Because we do see in Advent Children that Zack, or a fragment of him, shows up whenever within Cloud's mind, his psyche. That is Zack when the wolf there, but. So even though Zack would be allowed in, what could Zack ultimately do? He doesn't have Cloud's history.
And even and even beyond, like, so you have that moment, obviously, in the end where, you know, he's like, "Yeah, do you know Tifa? Like, something's going on here." But you also have a moment in the DMWs where Cloud is looking at the water tower. He's just staring at the water tower in the middle of the night, and Zack's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, just thinking of old memories or something like that." You know, he never tells Zack. So
exactly. Do I think they could have had that conversation?
Yeah, eventually, absolutely. I think so. I mean, he maybe not have told him the promise. Maybe he would have, maybe wouldn't. But the point is, he would have eventually opened up to him about having feelings for Tifa.
Exactly.
I think.
So because Zack is just that he's that kind of dude that you.
Yeah, they only had 10 days, not 10. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Exactly.
I think if Zack had another week with him, he would have gotten him to take off that helmet and talk to Tifa.
Yeah, except unfortunately, Sephiroth had to muck things up.
Well, you know, and that's a slow burn. You know, that's the nature of the slow burn. It was like
exactly
they didn't realize, and that's the romantic tension, because like Tifa's helping Cloud the entire, like helping him get to the end and stuff, like you're like, just take the helmet off. Ah!
Exactly. And what it ultimately boils down to is that even if Zack and Aerith could enter Cloud's psyche, even if they had that measure of intimacy, and I'm not talking romantic, I'm talking about closeness. Even if they had that intimacy that Cloud would have let them into his psyche, they didn't have his history. They don't know what his childhood was.
They don't know
like.
anything about it. Nothing. Aerith certainly doesn't know. Cloud doesn't tell her anything. Exactly. I mean, even the story that Cloud tells Aerith in chapter 9 is actually Zack's story, not hers. Exactly. I mean, I'm sorry, not his.
Also, so, like, do you think Aerith would tease Cloud the way that she does if she knew that he was bullied as a kid? No, I don't think she would. I don't think she would be like pick fun of him, and that's part of the whole story. The only person that knows of Cloud's trauma, because bullying is traumatic.
Oh yeah. So
even if it wasn't like he lost a limb or what have you. It was still traumatic. The only person that is cognizant of it is Tifa. No one else can.
Well, you see her actively acknowledging this in a way, because in On the Way to a Smile, when she realizes that Cloud can tell the difference between different vegetables, some vegetables, you know, her first instinct is to laugh, but then she's like, "No, I shouldn't do that because it's not as," you know. So she doesn't laugh. Like she is always cognizant of Cloud's emotional state, you know, and what he can handle, what he can't handle.
Exactly. Sephiroth saying that I killed her is taking advantage of the fact that that was the one time Cloud did take his eyes off of her.
That's his deepest fear, is losing Tifa.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the only reason he wakes up. Yeah. Exactly.
That is his biggest fear. And that was also when he thought Tifa was dead. That's when he was a puppet. Mm-hmm. So Sephiroth, who he cut away parts of his own soul so that he could remain in existence. He cut away the good parts of himself.
and she's talking about On the Way to a Smile, by the way. We always incorporate everything in the compilation when we talk about
exactly. But the reason I bring that up is that in order to keep his consciousness within the live stream, he had to cut away so much of himself except for his obsession with Cloud. Mm-hmm. And that hyperfixation means that he will be hyper-focused on the fact that, this big titty bitch over here is the one that made Cloud go aggro. I need to be the focal point of Cloud's obsession, because Cloud is essentially keeping Sephiroth alive. Mm-hmm. Sephiroth's existence is dependent on Cloud.
Yeah.
That's why Sephiroth would never kill Cloud.
I don't think it would ever kill Cloud either. And in a weird way, and I know I'm going to get myself, because I've been railing on Claris the entire time, but I do mean this genuinely. I think, in a sense, it also gave Aerith purpose, because if you read On the Way to a Smile, largely she's obsessed with protecting Cloud. Mm-hmm. So just like how Sephiroth is obsessed with destroying Cloud's world, basically, and holding on to his hatred for Cloud, she's holding on to, as she says, Cloud represents everything that matters to her, aka Zack. Okay, so. Exactly. In a weird way, Cloud is motivating both of them, just different reasons. Not in a weird, but for different reasons. Cloud is tethering them from joining the live stream for different reasons. Yeah.
Exactly. So ultimately, what it really boils down to is that when Sephiroth, the reason Sephiroth is planting these seeds of doubt in Cloud's mind, mm-hmm. that the Tifa he's looking at is not his Tifa, is because he knows that the farther apart they are, the easier it is to bury himself deeper into Cloud's spirit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And essentially taking Cloud as his own. Mm-hmm. His goal, and you can go the Sephiroth route, you can go whatever route you want. It is still ultimately his existence is dependent on Cloud, and Tifa gets in the way of that. Mm-hmm. So he is going to say and do whatever he can to separate the two. And you know what? If we have, and this is theory crafting on my end, I'm completely candid about this. Moving forward, if there is going to be an instance where, let's say we have Gold Saucer and Aerith is the one that gets the date. Mm-hmm. It would say that it's not an orchestrated event in order to further separate Cloud and Tifa. The sky's the limit, because the end goal
that's all Aerith is at the end of the day. As far as the love story is concerned, mm-hmm. Aerith is a distraction from Cloud and Tifa. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you know, it obviously was never meant to be. They wouldn't have crafted the story as Aerith always being reminded of her first love through Cloud if it was meant to be the actual canon ship. Okay, so obviously that's not what's meant to be. So at the end of the day, it's just a distraction as far as the love story, not her as a character. As far as the love story, she's just a distraction from Cloud and Tifa. So yeah, you're right. If they decide to keep going down this LTD, faux LTD narrative route,
I don't think
that will. I really don't think they will. I mean, especially after. I mean, they had 3 years, like I said, to come up with a trailer, and they came up with this trailer. Mm-hmm. I just don't see it happening. Exactly. So I think they will let Aerith focus on what she's actually here to do, which is save the planet.
Exactly.
About her
So
being
they're
a
making
Cetra,
the
about
numbers-
her, you know, her love story with Zach and stuff like that. They don't need to keep Aerith third wheeling in Cloud and Tifa's relationship. You know? Yeah.
So, and also consider the fact that if Aerith willingly and knowingly hurt Tifa in such a way, Sephiroth wouldn't have to do shit. The fandom itself would crucify Aerith before anything else happened. Because women,
absolutely.
especially because Final Fantasy is a mixed... it's not just men that play Final Fantasy. A lot of women play Final Fantasy.
A lot of women.
And a lot of women will see a friend betraying her friend. We'd kill her faster than Sephiroth would.
Well, and that's exactly what Nojima has been setting up, because you see this actual truly great friendship that you see in Remake and Traces of Two Paths with Cloud. I'm sorry, with Aerith and Tifa, and then you know, because of Crisis Core Reunion, the great relationship between Zack and Cloud. So you're going to have not only one, but two people betraying their best friends for each other, for two people that knew each other a week at this point. This is not plausible. Like nobody's dumb enough to write that story. Okay? Yeah. It's not going to happen.
That heart when it comes to our romance in movies and such. We're all little old-fashioned romantics. Like, a lot of us, when we look at anything involving romance, we want your first love to be your only love a lot of the time. So it's just like, we betraying, nah. The fandom at large, nope, would not take it.
Yeah, absolutely. And not that that's the story they want. I mean, Nojima seems very uninterested in writing any type of LTD stuff. Like, he clearly...
Yeah.
He clearly is not into this LTD stuff. I mean, he was very adamant. The second somebody even asked him if Zack is supposed to be wavering between Cisne and Aerith, he was like, no. I like literally said no. Okay, he's not into this. So and the fact that he fought to keep the line, you can't fall in love with me even if you think you have, is not real. He fought to keep that line in. That tells me a lot about that line. That means he intended to kill Claire in that line. Okay.
Exactly. So, and I think, and that's the thing that makes the willful misrepresentation of that, where Sephiroth is goading Cloud into saying, "Hey, I killed your woman." It's just like, you're willfully misrepresenting what actually happened. Every other translation, he names Tifa. And even though the English translation doesn't have Tifa's name, it is obvious who he's talking about. He is trying to delude Cloud and to separate them, because we are not doing the love triangle.
Yeah, like it was like the love triangle thing was just kind of a lazy way of trying to get people into Aerith's character, honestly. And now they're like, you know, let's focus on the things that actually make her a great character. Let's not lazily throw her into a love triangle narrative to make people care about her. Okay, that's what's happening. They've been working on this ever since 1997. Like they, you know, having children and especially Crisis Core and stuff like that. Like they are realizing that was just not the way to go. Because it was never going to happen anyway, and now they've created this huge monster of the Final Fantasy VII fandom of people genuinely, well, I don't even know if it's genuine, but whatever, just feverishly believing that Cloud was always going to end up with Aerith, and this is why they're so obsessed with Remake. Even though they claim that the sword was always Clarith, they now want everything to change so that the sword can be Clarith. Now make that make sense. But
yeah, exactly. So if you truly like the story, then why do you want to change it?
So yeah, and now they want everything to change. And they think just simply because Tifa, according to them, Tifa's the dead one now, that Cloud would just jump to the next vagina near him. Like Cloud is just such a flaky asshole that he'll just jump to the next vagina. Oh, Air's still alive. Let me just jump to her. Like that, they think that's. Exactly. But you know what? It's born, and I'm gonna end on this because I am still ranting about Claire. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna end on this. I think it's because they have to justify in their minds why Cloud would sleep with Tifa a week later after Aerith died, or 2 weeks, or whatever it was. Okay, week, 2 weeks, whatever. They have to justify in their minds what would compel him to to spend all night with another woman under the stars, 10 yards from Aerith's house or whatever, to 50 yards from Aerith's house. Oh, he must be just so enveloped in grief that he had to just cling to the nearest woman and have sex with her.
Even if that was viable, I love Tifa, and I think she is amazing, but she doesn't have the ability that Aerith does. She can't save the world from the grave. So
it makes absolutely no sense that they would kill Tifa off. I think we've already acknowledged that. I mean, it makes zero sense they would kill Tifa. Other than shock value, I suppose. But I mean,
so Tifa dies. Aerith still has to die. Then essentially Cloud dies because his wifey died. It's just like everybody's dead except for Vincent, who's immortal. That poor man.
Poor man. All right, well, ladies, we have certainly talked that. I mean, I don't even know what we ended on at this point.
We are.
All I will say is this trailer absolutely says in every other language, German, Spanish, French, and in the Japanese, Tifa's name is absolutely about Tifa. Though I do think what he's saying here might be disjointed dialogue from this part. I don't know yet. I mean, it remains to be seen.
That man is too big.
But, whew, Lord, I know it's sad because he's in the process of about to kill. He's about to try to kill Tifa, but my God, look how tall! And then the way that he swung that sword around to the left hand, I was like, oh my God.
I'm sorry, like Sephiroth is still baby girl. Like he is definitely the bottom in the ship, but damn it, I am thirsting over Sephiroth.
Oh, the bottom in what ship? What are you talking about?
Oh, in the Gen Seph.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely the bottom.
Baby girl, but he is a giant baby girl.
Mm-hmm, yeah. All right, so anyway. So yeah, though I do think it could be or could not be disjointed dialogue. Now I'm starting to actually lean toward maybe Sephiroth's first attempt to break Cloud or to get into Cloud's head is to try to sow seeds of doubt into the team that Tifa's not real. Maybe all this stuff does really happen around the time or during the Junon ship. So I'm talking about when Tifa says the whole imposter stuff, when Tifa says, when Cloud says, I saw you lying there from the first Rebirth trailer. And then this stuff about those you love. Maybe he does turn to Tifa and says, you know that I killed her. Who is she? Maybe all that does really happen around that time or during or on the Junon ship. And then Tifa, but because Tifa knows she's real, she isn't confused. And maybe this is Nojima's way. Monk, are you still there? Maybe this is Nojima's way of debunking that stuff too, about this idea that Tifa's confused or Tifa doesn't, Tifa's memories can't be trusted and blah blah. Tifa's memories are perfectly intact, other than when she was literally bleeding, dying out of falling off of a mountain or being killed by or almost killed by Sephiroth. Her memories otherwise are perfectly reliable, and she knows for sure she is the real Tifa. The reason that Cloud doubts it is because Jenova is fucked with his head, so he doesn't know. He doesn't acknowledge that and he also doesn't know that he has a lot of Zack's memories, not his own. So it's like his head is completely jumbled.
Or maybe this is just a thought that came to my head. I know we're trying to wrap up, but this is a thought that came to my head. And what if, because remember, Cloud says that the only opinion that matters is Tifa. What if Sephiroth went to him first, and like a whole separate situation, basically saying, "Hey, this is not your Tifa." But Cloud ignores Sephiroth and doesn't believe him because he has so much faith in Tifa. And because she is his true north. So that's why it's just like, shit, I can't get it on this side, so I'm going to do it on the other side, because Tifa's the only one that doubts Cloud because she doesn't remember him being there. Because he can't penetrate the great wall that is Cloud, he's like, shit, okay, let me see if I can penetrate Tifa. Hang on.
Let me see if I can penetrate them. Well, Cloud certainly does under the highway, but I digress.
I can't wait for the game to come out. Now I wonder. Oh, hang on a second. Next time we pop onto this,
this won't be the first discussion we have on this trailer because, like, obviously, we ain't even, oh my god, but yeah,
my brain is cranking out some ideas now, and I'm like,
yes. All right, well, ladies, this has been fun.